So if we're going to talk then about the overall economy over
Yeah.
the next few years, the Trump economy, do you have
Yeah.
any predictions in terms of rates or tariffs or just overall cost of living or national debt?
Yeah, national debt's going to get way worse. Cost of living is going to get way worse. Trump is not going to solve that problem. They're going to print more money. I mean, look at the big, beautiful bill. It's amazing for who? Who's it amazing for?
Real estate investors.
Me. It is good for me and all of Trump's buddies. I think that people that understand the game and they know how to ride the wave are going to ride the wave. And the people that are not are going to complain that the waves are too high. That's what's going to continue to happen. And people are going to sit on the sidelines. And what I'm actually fearful of, I'm curious about your guys' opinions about this. I think in 5 to 7 years, you look at like truck drivers. Are truck drivers going to be around in 7 years in any significant way? Okay, so how many people work in truck driving?
Lots.
7 million people are in truck driving, 7 million between driving and logistics. In 7 years, 10% of those people have a job, 10%. So you're looking at 6,100,000 people are going to lose their jobs in trucking. Where are they going to go? Electrical and plumbing and landscaping? Like, I'm more worried right now about UBI and what the government's going to have to do with these people than I am about anything else. And so people look at like, what's happening in the next 2 years? Bro, what's happening in 5 years right now? And what do I need to own to benefit from it? So for me, I might be a doomsdayer, but I'm focusing primarily on affordable housing. And I think that UBI is going to be a significant thing. I think universal basic income is the only way to keep people surviving.
So when you say affordable housing, do you just mean like cheaper units?
Cheaper units, $1,000 a month or less is affordable housing.
Who's most at risk of AI?
Okay, everybody. I mean, as much as I look at even my own team, right? 300 employees, and I have other companies that have hundreds of employees. I look at them and I go, I want to keep my team. Well, the problem is my competitors are not. So how can I'm basically, my hand is being forced to say, well, I have 7 people doing this job. A great example. I own a company out of the Philippines. 5 years ago, I had an offer to buy it for $10 million. It's a cold call center out of the Philippines. Physical human beings, 300 people. We had an offer to buy it for $10 million. We turned it down. I can't even sell it for $1 million today. Why?
Automated.
No, everybody looks at that. So 300 people in the Philippines are going to lose their job because there's companies like, I'm sure you've maybe had some guests on here, but there's companies like prop.ai, like prop as in like property, that does all the cold calling for you. Here's what prop.ai will do. Think about 300 people in the Philippines that are doing cold calling and customer service. What their job is for a real estate investor is what? They do the cold calling and they set the appointment for somebody like me to talk to a seller or let's say a real estate agent to negotiate a good deal. If prop.ai is $1,000 a month, it outperforms 15 human beings that are $1,000 a month each in the Philippines. So that's $15,000 cost. Yes, you can get a whole Filipino for $1,000 a month, like full-time employee. So $15,000 a month, prop.ai outperforms those 15. What do you think is going to happen? Everybody's losing their jobs. And where are they going to go? What are they going to do? That's my question to you. What do you guys think is going to happen with all these employees that are going to lose their jobs?
I think people are either going to pivot and have to find work elsewhere or...
Like what? That's the question.
I don't know, but that's kind of the question that people had, when we were inventing things like the cotton gin and other, the printing press. And obviously this is on a much larger scale, but I also think that people had no idea where these people would go.
What would I do if I wasn't like, tilling corn?
And exactly. And we just, thank God he didn't have to till corn though, right?
I don't know, man.
I would have been really
some low
good at
yield,
it, man.
some low yield.
He'd be counting
Corn
every
deficiency.
single grain of corn.
Exactly.
All the way
Making
through.
it sure to charge for every.
What about you, Graham? What do you think
What?
what do you think is going to happen with all these people that are going to lose their jobs? I think it's inevitable. It's already happening.
Also, I do think UBI will.
You do agree with the UBI?
I do think so. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with UBI. So who benefits from UBI?
Probably, yeah, you.
Me.
The sellers.
No, not the sellers, the people who own the real estate. Because let's say that I have 161 units and they're all affordable, around $1,000 a month. And the UBI certificate, or they basically pay your rents, very similar to Section 8.
Yeah.
I have Section 8 is really funny. People go into like Ohio and Iowa and they do the Section 8 stuff, like they're impacting the world. I do super Section 8, which means I'm not touching I'm not going to do any Section 8 unless I can do 24 of them at the same time. So I can go get a 24 unit, put all of those people into that property. All of them are Section 8. What have I now done? I've built a moat around myself for the future. So UBI or Section 8 or HUD-VASH programs, they're going to pay that. So for me, I'm good. What I worry about, you don't have kids yet, Graham. Jack, I know you're going to have 3 kids. What are you going to tell your kids to do? I got a 1-year-old boy. What do I tell my little boy to do? Well, Pace, you have plenty of money. He doesn't have to work. Is that what I want my kid to do? What does my kid do to provide value to the marketplace to find a sense of purpose? That's a bigger worry I have.
I don't know. I think if you give the people the right resources and proper education, they'll be able to find their own way.
I think there's going to crop up other opportunities that we just don't think of today. There's going to be something else that needs to be solved.
I'm a denier. I'm like a climate denier or something. I don't think this is going to happen.
You don't think opportunity will arise?
I think there will, but I think that the mass amount of people that are going to lose their jobs, like some of my friends and guests you've had on the show, I see them talking about buying businesses, go into the home services. Okay. So I see people going and buying roof companies. Okay. Have you seen Rufus, the robot that's replacing roofs? Mm-hmm. RUFUS, guys, go look it up. And I go, so I see all these people buying roofing companies thinking they're going to build a moat around themselves. Meanwhile, robots are already replacing roofs right now.
But if that's the case, then you could replace most things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Doctors, accountants, delivery could be drones. I mean, there's so many things that you could replace.
It would decrease the cost of living.
It would decrease the cost of living, but it would also allow people to move further out from cities, and that you don't need to be in Los Angeles anymore. You could be an hour and a half, 2 hours away, kind of in the middle of nowhere.
The average person, right? You guys met the average person? Are they going to... No, he's not the average person. He's like one of the smartest people on the planet.
No.
Us 3 are not the average person, right? We're just not. I get to meet the average person all the time. I go on road trips. I go to meetups. I actually talk to the people that have like real significant worries, and I meet them face to face. I smell the breath of the taco they ate. That's how close I am to them. You take all of this away from them, they will not go and create a pathway for them.
Yeah, but you don't think they would move an hour and a half outside of the city?
I think
the cost of living is...
I think they'll be forced to.
But you're going to have autonomous cars. And the cost of living is going to be so low compared to where it would be today because of technology that I think...
You know what I love about you guys is that you guys very rarely agree to anything.
I think like...
No, we agree on a lot.
We agree on a lot.
We agree to disagree.
But on stuff like this, we do not. Yeah. I tend to think, and this is what we've seen, I feel like from a policy perspective, is the more rules and regulations and just things that happen in the world, the stronger of a divide it will just naturally create between those who have the capacity to provide a lot of value versus those who do not have the capacity to provide a lot of value.
And capacity means mental, physical, or what?
Mental or physical or, whatever.
Access to information or whatever.
Someone to be
I think
productive
access to information is easier than ever now.
The problem is like, okay, so for example,
it's everything.
I threw out a bunch of websites, right, today, like Creative Listing or Prop or whatever I threw out. Most of your audience have never heard of those before, even though they're a thumb click away. Right?
I've never heard of them.
Right. Yeah. And so you look at this and a whole entire, like hundreds of thousands of people are making millions of dollars off of those things in a completely different sector than like Ben Mala is. So how does somebody even know that those things exist? Just because it's there doesn't mean I know how to
Yeah, but now they do because they have YouTube on their phone.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so I agree, but I don't think many people are actually going to go and search for the information. I think most people will sit and be lazy.
I tend to agree with you a little bit in terms of that.
Yeah, but that should amp people up that the bar is so low.
But the thing is that life has gotten so easy.
But people will hate me for this, but I look at it and I go, look, you can either be the 90% that hide their head in the sand, or you can be the 10% of people that take advantage of the 90% that hide their head in the sand. Like, think about this. The government's going to have to pay for UBI, let's say 15% of the population. I think in the next 10, 15 years, 15% already, what is it? I think it's like 30% of the population relies on government assistance. 30% right now, right? In 10 years, you don't think UBI is going to be at 10, 15%? I think you and I agree to this. I don't know if you do. Do you agree with UBI?
Okay, yeah, cool. I think we get rid of Social Security and we just do UBI. I would love that.
I like this. Yeah. I like this, Graham. This is a great idea. So who benefits from that are people that understand how to put themselves in the situation to benefit from that. And although it's accessible and they could learn from me, they could learn from your podcast, people go, just tell me what to do and I'll then do it. They won't go do the work. 90% of people will not go do the work that's required because people have gotten soft. Do we agree with that?
I think life has just gotten very nice. And I said this one time and people didn't like it, but I think that someone that's struggling and not doing well financially, just in a bad spot in their life is still like 35 to 40% the same life as Leonardo DiCaprio. And the reason I say that is because they both sleep for 8 hours maybe, and they both spend a lot of time on TikTok and on YouTube and watching the news and doing those things. And then sure, there's the 60% of their life where like the other person, you know, they're working at their job and they're like struggling to get by. And then the other 60% of Leonardo DiCaprio's is like with 100 women that are a little questionably young.
Yeah.
Like it's very different lives, but still I think that like the lives of the poor people are no longer completely different than the lives of the well-off.
I agree with
like
that.
they used to be.
What's the quote? The quote is, hard men create good times create soft men create hard times and so forth. We're in the cycle right now where soft people are creating hard times, right? I believe. Now, I think that there's a world of UBI and things are getting easier and they're printing money, and those people will just gravitate to that.